my dear students. I am Mahadev Somiyar, Assistant Professor of English, GFGC, Kabhalli. In the previous class, we discussed Elizabethan age with special reference to Elizabethan theatre, William Shakespeare, his life and contributions to the English literature. So in this session, we shall discuss his play, The Tempest. And in The Tempest, today we shall discuss Scene 1 and Scene 2 of the first act. Introduction. The play The Tempest is a romance probably written around 1610 or in 1611. This is one of the last plays of William Shakespeare. It is believed that The Tempest is the last completed work of William Shakespeare. It was written around 1611 and published in the first folio of 1623. William Shakespeare used supernatural elements throughout the play. One of the distinctive features of this play is its supernatural elements. He used supernatural elements extensively, but unlike other plays where they shapes the destinies of the hero and the heroine, but in Tempest, the supernatural elements are controlled by the main character, that is Prospero. Prospero, for 12 years, he studied books on magic and masters it. He used his magic and Ariel, a spirit, and meticulously arranged the events of the play. Unlike other plays, the supernaturals in The Tempest has a positive role, and Prospero used these supernatural elements to teach a lesson to his enemies. The Tempest is written in 5 acts. So there are totally 5 acts in this play, and each act is divided into many scenes. It deals with both tragic and comic themes. Often The Tempest is considered as a tragic comedy, where the elements of both tragedy and comedy are combined. So in this play, more than the effect of tragedy, the tragic atmosphere hovers around the play. In contrast to this, the comedy is felt in the concluding part of the play. So this is all about the introduction to the play. So let's move on to the opening scene of the play. The opening scene. The play opens with the raging of violent storm around a small ship at sea. See, opening scenes are very much important in almost all the plays of William Shakespeare. So in this play, the scene opens with the violent storm. Okay, this scene opens in the ship on sea and begin with violent storm with thunder and lightning, and the situation is scary. So this is the situation or the beginning opening of the play. Okay, we can, as the play opens, we can see thunder and lightning, and the storm is hitting the small ship. The mariners and the people aboard are running around in fear due to tempest. So the tempest is nothing but a violent windy storm. Okay, so since the tempest is hitting, the master of the ship calls for boatswain to rouse the other mariners to action and prevent the ship from drowning. The people and the board are running in confusion, but since even there are many characters, we do not come across any of their names. Later, we came to know that King Alonso of Naples and his entire team sailed home for Italy after attending his daughter's wedding in Tunis, Africa. So, what are the people, or who are the people, and from where they are coming from? So, actually, King Alonso of Naples, he agreed to the marriage of his daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis, Africa. That is from this is very far from Italy to Africa. So he decided to give his daughter in marriage to him. Uh, these people, that is Alonso and his team, his companions, they were returning from the Africa, and when they caught in the violent storm, Alonso, he regrets his decision of consenting his daughter's marriage to the king of Tunis. If he thinks that if he did not agree to the marriage of his daughter to the king of Tunis, they wouldn't have caught up in this situation. So this was the thought of Alonso when uh, he is experiencing this violent storm. So next, see, this is how opening scene might have happened. This is an imaginary scene. See, you can see that the water is raising and people are trying to control the ship. And on the right side of the picture, you can see old man and a lady. So these are male is Prospero and she is Miranda, the daughter of Prospero. They were standing on the bank and watching the storming ship. Characters in the scene. There are numerous characters in the scene, as I told you earlier. They were Alonso, King of Naples, Sebastian, his brother, Antonio, Gonzalo, Ferdinand, and others are there on the ship. So, these are the noblemen of Italy. Alonso, who is the king of Naples, Sebastian is his brother, Antonio is brother of Prospero, Gonzalo is the nobleman, and one more important character, Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, is also traveling in the ship. Apart from these noblemen, there are master of the ship, boatswain, and other servants. So mariners trying to control the ship, whereas these aristocrats scolding them without helping. So the storm is hitting and the ship is about to sink. During this time, the mariners are trying to control the ship. Okay, but unfortunately, these noble people or aristocrats, without giving any help to them, they are just scolding. Okay, they are just creating problem to the boatswain and his masters. So noblemen were cursing and disturbing the mariners instead of helping them. And boatswain, he says to them that you do assist the storm. Boatswain, in rage, he tells that instead of helping us or instead of help to control the storm or to save the ship, you are just helping the storm. That means by disturbing us, that is by disturbing mariners, they are just helping out storm. During that time, Gonzalo, one of the noblemen, reminded mariners of the king and asked them to pray for the king. So at that part of time, these people realized that they have no other options except pray. And Gonzalo, he is one of the best men in the play. He requested all the people, including mariners and the uh, noble people, to pray, and he reminded that we are very important, that is there are very important people are traveling in the ship, so you should control the ship or you should save the ship. And also he would like to pray to the god, okay, for the king. So all noblemen start praying desperately because the ship is destined for the destruction. And after that, strange noise was heard. All started crying, and the ship breaks apart. So as soon as they started praying, there was a strange sound, and all the mariners and all the people on the boat or the ship, they started crying, and the ship breaks apart, and all are going to drown. So this is what happens. This is the action of the opening scene. Importance of the opening scene. As I told you, the opening scenes of the Shakespeare are always striking and of greater importance. Example, the three witches in Macbeth and the dispute of property in King Lear and this stormy situation of this Tempest. So these are the very important scenes of William Shakespeare's plays because they sets a tone, okay, and also they give you the hint that what will be the future action in the play. The play opens in the chaotic scene, tempest, a violent windy storm that hints at the supernatural power and forces beyond human control. And tempest is very important because it brings all the enemies of Prospero to the island. So we, in the later part of the play, we came to know that the storm or the tempest is not natural; it's man-made. Okay. Usually, playwrights use the introductory scene to present the main characters and hint at the general narrative. Uh, Introductory scene is very important and it's used to introduce some main characters of the play, okay, and also the general narration in the later part of the play. So in the same way, in this play also, the tempest which happens that made the people who are on this ship to reach island, okay, we will know who are they in the future. This opening scene certainly contains spectacle in the form of the howling storm threatening to kill the characters before the play has even begun. So this is completely confusing. So at the end of the first scene, we can see that all the people are going to die because the storm hit the ship and they are going to drown in the sea. So it's remarkable for its extraordinary breadth of imaginative vision, and the audience have to imagine this spectacular natural event. So those days, uh, during the William Shakespeare's age, there were no that much advancement in the properties and all. So the people have to imagine the violent storm, the ship, and the sea, everything. So importance of the opening scene continued. This scene is also introduced the important motif of master servant relationships. As I already told you, you can divide the characters on the ship into noble or noble people. They are Alonso, Sebastian, Ferdinand, and so on, and servants and professionals such as the boatswain. The characters in the scene are never named outright. They are only referred to in terms that indicate their social status, like boatswain, master, king, and prince. As the play progresses, this master servant motif becomes the major motifs of the play. Later, we came to know that the storm is not natural but a deliberate magical conjuring by Prospero designed to bring the ship to the island. So, the tempest is central to the plot. So, the confusion of the opening scene is itself misleading. as we learn that later in the novel play that it's Prospero's plan. Prospero, later we can study more about Prospero. Once he was a duke, but now he is landed in the island. In the very next scene, we can learn what is the reason for Prospero to plan like this. He, along with his servant, that is spirit servant Ariel, he created the tempest with his magical power, okay, so that the ship is going to be destroyed and the people on the ship will be landed to the island. So this tempest is designed to bring the ship to the island. So tempest is very important. This is very important for the, and we can consider this as the central to the plot. So this is all about opening scene of the play. So then we will discuss the act 1 scene 2. So act 1 scene 2 is very important because it introduces us most of the major characters of the play. Among them, Prospero is the leading character of the play, or we can see that everything in the play happens what Prospero plans. This scene opens with the revelation that it was Prospero's magic which is responsible for the storm. Prospero and Miranda witnessed the shipwreck. So, as I showed you in the picture, you can see in the second scene, Prospero along with his daughter Miranda, they were standing on the island and watching the shipwreck. Okay, and then we came to know that that is the storm is due to the magical power of Prospero. Miranda requested her father to see that no one on board comes to any harm. So Miranda, who is very kind, she requested her father that she don't want anyone on the board to be armed. And Prospero assures her that no one was armed. So Miranda suspected that her father's magical power would have something to do with this storm. Prospero tells her that it's time to know who she is and narrated his past story, which introduces major characters of the play. So this is very important situation because Prospero uh, tried many times to tell his past story to his daughter, but he stopped. Now he thinks it's apt time to tell his story, and his story consists uh, two parts. One, he narrates his past story to his daughter Miranda, and another story to Ariel. So it's a quite long sequence which is devoted to telling the play's background story while introducing the major characters on the island. So I already told you that is with the help of his magical power he brought his enemies to the island. Okay, and I told you that once he was Duke. Okay, so now this is time to learn who is Prospero exactly, right? And why the people on the ship are Prospero's enemies. See, this is typical character of Prospero. He is holding a magical book and stick in his hand. Okay, so he used to practice magic with these two things. Prospero's past. He tells her that 12 years ago he was Duke of Milan, but he gradually lost his interest in politics and turned his attention more to his studies. So this is true. Prospero was once the Duke of Milan. Okay, so that means he came to Ireland 12 years ago. But what happens to Prospero? He gradually lost his interest in politics, okay, and he started reading more books. So he appointed Antonio to look after the administration of the city. This gave his brother Antonio an opportunity to act on his ambition. So by using this advantage, his brother Antonio, working in consent with the king of Naples, that is Alonso, and he driven out Prospero of his dukedom. So his ambitious brother Antonio, with the help of Alonso, king of Naples, usurped Prospero of his dukedom. So he used the situation very well to become the duke of the city. Prospero also explained her how he and Miranda escaped from death with the help of his loyal subjects and Gonzalo. But fortunately, Prospero did not face any harm. His loyal subjects and his good friend Gonzalo saved him. Gonzalo, an honest nobleman, provided them with food and clothing as well as books. So somehow, with the help of his loyal people and the Gonzalo, he escaped and reached the island with his 3 years old daughter Miranda, okay, and reveals that he created this plan to teach a lesson to his enemies. So now it's clear that the enemies of Prospero are his brother Antonio and the king of Naples, who is that is Alonso. So these are the major enemies. So 12 years ago, that is when Miranda was mere 3 years old, he came to island with much difficulty, okay, having nothing, just some food and books. So these are the books he used to study magic. Now it's time to know another character, Ariel. So Ariel is the spirit servant of Prospero, right? After narrating entire story to Miranda, he charms his magic on her and she fell asleep. So in the Tempest, it's a play about power in various forms. Then Prospero is the central of this power, controlling events throughout the play through his magic and manipulation. See, the use of magical power on Miranda shows how he maintains his power. He even never hesitated to use his magical power to Miranda. Since he have some work with Ariel, he just charms Miranda to sleep. Prospero calls for the spirit Ariel, who was a servant of Sycorax, who imprisoned him and died without releasing him. Then Prospero freed him and made his servant. So Ariel was once a servant of Sycorax. So Sycorax is a witch. Okay. Unfortunately, Sycorax imprisoned Ariel in Cloven Pine. Okay. Right. So Ariel successfully completed the work as Prospero planned. So this is Ariel who is bringing out all the plans of Prospero. Okay, so when Ariel successfully completed, Prospero thanked him. Okay, he thanks him for his service. And taking the advantage of this moment, Ariel reminds Prospero that he was promised freedom. Okay, but he is not finished the agreed time of service. So now this is time to know another story of Ariel, that Prospero now recalls the story, how he rescued him from Sycorax, who imprisoned in the Cloven Pine. At the time, Prospero released him by using his magical power. Okay, reminding this, Prospero threatens Ariel to imprison him again. So knowing this, Ariel become polite and he apologizes. So all members were brought safely to shore but dispersed around the island. But Ferdinand, the king's son, is alone, and mariners and boatswain have been charmed to sleep. in the ship. So this is what the Prospero's plan. Okay, the people who are on the ship, so they did not die. So what happened to them? Since it is the complete plan of Prospero, Ariel brought all of them to island. Okay, but according to the plan of Prospero, he dispersed people around the island and he separated Ferdinand from the rest of the people. Okay, Ferdinand is the son of Alonso, the king of Naples. Okay, and Ariel brought mariners and boatswain in the ship itself and he made them to sleep. So this is the character of Ariel, and Ariel is described as very delicate and refined, gracious, and an hairy spirit. So he is the loyal servant to uh, Prospero. Okay, since he released from the Sycorax imprisonment, Ariel have to listen to Prospero. So this is how he was imprisoned in Cloven Pine, and this is the possible costumes of Ariel. Next, Caliban. Caliban is one of the important characters in this play. Caliban, he is the son of Sycorax, right? We'll see later. Miranda is fully awakened now, and Prospero suggests a conversation with Caliban. See, when Prospero was talking to Ariel, he made Miranda to sleep. So as soon as Ariel left the place, he awakened her and he calls for Caliban. So Caliban is the son of Sycorax, a witch, and he is the native of the island. Okay. Uh, Before Prospero arriving to the island, Caliban is the real owner of the uh, island. Okay, he's a native. Okay, he was the son of Sycorax, a witch. Okay, who imprisoned Ariel. But as soon as Caliban enters, he started cursing. See, Caliban curses him and rebukes Prospero for imprisoning him on the island that once belonged to him alone. Right? So as soon as Caliban enters on the stage, he started cursing Prospero because there is a reason. He began cursing. Prospero promises to punish him. So whatever the other characters say, Prospero is ready to use his magic. So he warns Caliban that he is going to punish him. And this time, Prospero accuses Caliban of being ungrateful for all he has taught and given him. Okay, but very cleverly. So we can think that what might the Prospero taught. So Prospero, according to Prospero, he tells that he taught a language to him and he taught civilized ways to Caliban. So to reply, Caliban reminds Prospero that he showed him around island when he first arrived, the good place where he can get water, food, etc. Okay, so when Prospero came to island, he is completely unaware of the things that are there in the island. So that is Caliban who introduced Prospero to the island. Caliban uses the language taught by Prospero and Miranda to curse him. So uh, I told you that Prospero taught him a language. Okay. So now Caliban uses the same language which is taught by Prospero and Miranda to curse them. Okay. He cleverly notes that he knows how to curse only because Prospero and Miranda taught him to speak. Okay. And Caliban is described as a coarse, resentful, brutish, and a poisonous, most lying slave. So this is the description of the Caliban in the uh, play. And we can also interpret the Caliban and Prospero that The Tempest is an allegory about European colonial practices, generally deemed Prospero's treatment of Caliban to represent the disruptive effect of European colonization on native societies. Due to Prospero's colonization, Caliban became slave, who is the original owner of the island. So there is a this tone, that is colonization of European forces. Okay, because Prospero is from outside. When he came to island, he imprisoned or he tortured and enslaved Caliban and occupied the entire island. Okay, so this is picture of Caliban. That is, this is how he might have seen. And the very important two characters of this scene are Ferdinand and Miranda. So Ferdinand appears before Miranda, who immediately falls in love with him, as she has seen no humans in her life other than Prospero and Caliban. So, as per the plan of Prospero, now Ariel brings Ferdinand to the place where Miranda is. Okay, Miranda is with his father, that is Prospero. Okay, he enters playing music, that is Ariel, and singing, and leads in Ferdinand. Okay, but as soon as Miranda seen Ferdinand, immediately she falls in love with him, because when she was only 3 years old, she came to Ireland. So since then, the only human beings Miranda has seen are his father Prospero and Caliban. So since Ferdinand is very handsome, so she immediately falls in love with him. Similarly, Ferdinand is smitten and reveals his identity as a prince of Naples. So the same thing happened to Ferdinand also, and he reveals that he is the prince of Naples. Prospero is pleased that they are so taken each other, but decides that the two must not fall in love quickly. So this is the plan of Prospero, that uh, they love each other. Since they start loving each other, one or the other day Miranda will become the queen of Naples, and he is not ready to give them time, because he have his own plan. So he do not want any of the things to go ahead of his plan. So he started controlling Ferdinand. So Prospero accused him of pretending to be the prince, and he imprisoned him. Since he have another plan, he started accusing Ferdinand, and he imprisoned him. Okay, when Prospero tells he is going to imprison him, Ferdinand draws his sword, but Prospero charmed him so that he cannot move, and finally he imprisoned him. So this is what happens in the second scene. So here you can see the enemies of uh, Prospero, the loyal servants, that is Ariel and Caliban, and the lovebirds Ferdinand and Miranda. So this is the picture where Ariel brings Ferdinand, and Miranda falls in love with him. See, now we reached the place where we have to recapitulate the things we learned today. So, The Tempest is a romance. The opening scenes of Shakespearean plays are always striking and of greater importance. The small ship which was returning from Tunis was hit by the violent storm. So, this is the important things of the scene 1. In the second scene, Prospero's magic is responsible for the storm, and Prospero, once a duke, but he was cheated by his brother Antonio with the help of Alonso, and Gonzalo helped him to escape. So, with his 3 years old daughter Miranda, he reached Ireland. Ariel is a loyal servant of Prospero. So, Ariel was once the servant of Sycorax. She imprisoned him. Fortunately, Prospero released him and made his servant. Caliban, son of Sycorax, is controlled by Prospero and now serving as the servant. So actually Caliban is the original mm, owner of the island before Prospero came. But when Prospero came, he controlled him with his magic and he made his servant. Prospero successfully planned to make Miranda falls in love with Ferdinand. So Prospero planned in such a way that his enemies, means Antonio, Alonso, and others, should come to island, and also he made Miranda to fall in love with Ferdinand. Okay, so this is all about Act 1, Scene 1 and Scene 2. So in the next class, we shall discuss Act 2. Thank you.